Welcome to another edition of Booty and Baribeau. He's Josh Booty, I'm Rachel Baribeau, and we are so excited to be joined by Booger McFarland, SEC Network, former defensive lineman for LSU, also had an illustrious career in the NFL as well. Booger, how are you this morning?
Two-time Super Bowl champion.
I know.
Two-time Super
I was
Bowl
waiting on
champion.
you.
This man got it. He's got the rings. He's got the hardware to show.
Yeah, a little hardware. You know what? It's one of those things, man. You know, Josh, I probably would, if you'd have came to LSU, I probably would have had a couple more rings, but you decided to go play baseball, you know?
Yeah, I was a baseball player. They were winning championships across the street.
Yeah, I hear you.
Do you wear the rings, Booger? That's what I want to know. Like on a daily basis, do you take them out for special occasions or do you wear those rings?
He showcases those bad boys. I know.
Now, you know what? To be honest with you, I leave them in a drawer, and sometimes my son will grab a hold of them and just be playing with them. Like, I don't have them in a case or anything like that. You know, to me, what's more valuable or most valuable is the memories and things you can't take away. Like a ring is cool. Mm-hmm. It signifies something. It's an emblem of something that you earn, but it doesn't stand for all the hard work and effort that you put in. But it's definitely something good to show off when you go somewhere and you put both of them on, though.
Well, it all started back in Winsboro, Louisiana. I was playing pro baseball. My brother was at LSU as a wide receiver. You remember Abram. He loves you to death.
Yeah.
But I remember you being recruited at LSU and how bad they wanted you, DiNardo and that staff. So tell me a little bit about your decision to play SEC football at LSU and then your career there, bud.
Well, you know, what's funny is, you know, growing up, I was a defensive tackle. And, you know, when you're a D lineman, you want to go where other D linemen have played and proven. So I grew up wanting to go to Miami, man. I mean, I wanted to be a part of Warren Sapp and Jerome Brown and Cortez Kennedy and Russell Maryland. And I can keep going on and on, but those are guys that were dominant at the position. And I didn't get offered by Miami. Ultimately, my choices were made between kind of after I whittled down all the letters between LSU, Tennessee, Arkansas, and Notre Dame. Man, it's kind of a funny story, man. Danny Ford came in from Arkansas, and he came to the house in Winsboro, Louisiana. You know Danny Ford. He's a country boy.
Oh, yeah.
And he comes in the house, and he sits down, and the first thing he does was put his boots on my mama's coffee table.
Uh-oh.
I knew right then I wouldn't go into Arkansas. And,
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh, man, come on. That's one thing you don't do in a country home is put your feet on the coffee table, especially in the good living room. Not the one where everybody hangs out, the one where you keep the plastic on the furniture, you know? So Arkansas was, you know, kind of in the running because a friend of mine, Marvin Caston, who grew up in Winsboro, he went to Arkansas. But ultimately, I decided against that. Tennessee, I thought about Tennessee, but Tennessee didn't want me to play defensive tackle. They wanted me to play center, and they tried to feed me a sales pitch of, hey, for the next 3 years, you can have Peyton Manning sticking his hands between your legs. I'm like, nah, that's probably not going to work for me either. So in the end, man, I chose to go to LSU, and it was a good choice for me. I was born in Winsboro, but I was raised in Baton Rouge, man, and you know, got my degree, and things couldn't have worked out better for me down there in Baton Rouge.
All right, Booger, this matchup this weekend, let's get right into it. It's been called the Super Bowl of the SEC. If you look back at the history of this matchup, Saban's time at LSU, no love lost between these two teams. And then on top of that, LSU was kind of the team that wasn't really talked about at the beginning of the season, preseason. If they were talked about, it was about who was going to be their quarterback and you know what was going on there, and Leonard Fournette for sure. And I think that has probably benefited Les Miles and the LSU Tigers.
No doubt about it. And I think, you know, going into this season, the biggest question mark at LSU, and it's kind of been the biggest question mark since Josh chose to go play baseball, is the quarterback position. And you know, we knew LSU was a physical offensive line. We knew they could run the football. We didn't know Leonard Fournette was going to be this good, this fast, but, I mean, we knew they could run the football. Defensively, you knew Ed Ogeron was going to add something to the defensive line, who only had 19 sacks last year as a defense. Well, this year, they're getting close to surpassing it already in only 7 games. So the biggest question mark going into this year was the development of the quarterback position. And I think that Brandon Harris, along with Cam Cameron and Les Miles, for giving Cam a little bit more rope, is allowing Brandon to develop. And I think that's where it has this LSU team thinking national title. Like this LSU team, if Brandon Harris doesn't turn the football over and he throws for 200 yards a game, I don't think anybody can beat this team. The key is going to be, can they control the football? and can they run the football against this front seven of Alabama? Because I think it's the best front seven we've seen in college football maybe in the last decade. So it's going to be a huge challenge running the football against this defense.
Yeah, LSU's offense is starting to progress. The passing game seems to start to progress, and I like the way that Brandon Harris handles his business. I think he can also get out of the pocket, make some runs, and do some fun things that we can see the offense move the chains when everybody's looking at Fournette. I'm wondering what Saban's going to try to do, and I want to know what you think Saban's going to try to do to really get into Brandon Harris's head, because if LSU gets behind and they have to pass and have to throw the football, how is Brandon Harris going to react? Yes, he's got two great wideouts, Dupree and Dural, unbelievable players, but can he lead them down the field when they have to throw, when it's a 2-minute situation? We haven't seen him have to do that. What do you think about how Saban will try to counter Brandon Harris in that passing attack if LSU gets behind?
Well, to me, it's really simple, and you know this better than anybody. The easiest thing for a young quarterback to do is throw against man-to-man coverage, because once you identify man-to-man, you're basically throwing between one of two people. The hardest thing for a young quarterback to do is read and decipher zone coverages. Well, Alabama plays a lot of 3-on-2, a lot of 4-on-3 combination, which is a lot of zone coverage. So you have to be precise and accurate when you're going against the zone coverage. You have to make sure that, number one, you read the coverage. Number two, that you throw the football accurately. And I think that's what Nick Saban is going to try to do. You're going to see a lot of combo coverages. You're going to see a lot of zone coverage. You're going to see a lot of ability for Nick Saban and LSU to play those type of coverages where they make sure that Brandon doesn't have defined reads. And I think he's going to have to be accurate with the football and throw the football precisely in order to beat those type coverages, because you know and I know the hardest thing to do is to drop back and throw the football before the receiver comes open, because you have to throw it to a spot and trust, A, your read, and B, that your receiver is going to get there. So I look for a lot of combo coverage, a lot of zone coverage. You're not going to see much all-out blitz man-to-man, because that plays into a young quarterback's hand.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do, too, with stopping the run and Fournette. I mean, if you have to bring a safety in the box, then now you got to play single man, one-on-one on the outside. And that's where LSU can win. If Alabama can shut down LSU's run game with their front seven and can play games out there and play zone coverage, then it's going to be real tough on Brandon Harris. And like you said, the anticipation of throwing in zone coverage is very, very difficult sometimes for a young, inexperienced quarterback.
You look at also, conversely, let's look at, they're calling him Baby Roethlisberger. Mini Vic, the white Vic, the vanilla Vic. That's Jake Coker on the other side of the ball. And the secondary of LSU, I know they get Tre'Davious White. They're looking to get him back. I think Les Miles said that he was going to be healthy on Monday. You get Jalen Mills back, the senior safety that missed like 5 games with a foot surgery in August and then had the thigh bruise. This passing defense for the secondary hasn't been bad. I mean, it's average. But of 14 passing touchdowns they've allowed this season, 7 of them, Booger, the receiver was well behind the defender. And they know that Mulaney and Ridley are really capable of those big plays in Jacob Coker.
Well, no doubt about it. And probably the weakest link of the team right now has been the pass defense. And it's kind of surprising because you got Tre'Davious White, who's an all-conference performer. You got Jamal Adams, who I think is about to be the best safety in the country next year. You got Mills. He's been hurt. He hasn't played, but he'll be a top 2 to 3 round draft pick. And then you have the hot shot freshman in Kelvin Tolliver. So, a position that was supposed to be strength has been a weakness. And I think it's been due to the communication. The guys back there have let a lot of guys get behind him, as you said. And it's not the fact that you get beat for a touchdown, because that's going to happen to everybody. It's the fact that when the guy does catch a touchdown, nobody's within 20 yards. And that tells me it's been a blown coverage, a poor communication. Somebody is not paying attention. So Lane Kiffin is a mastermind at drawing up what I call shot plays, meaning when you're in between the 40-yard lines, he's going to drop a play, score a touchdown. And he's going to drop a play where he's going to stress your corners and your safeties' ability to communicate and pass routes off. And, if you go back and look against Georgia, he did it. Go back against Auburn last year, he did it. Like, he continues to draw 50, 60-yard home run plays. And if LSU can't cover those, he'll draw them up all day long.
Yeah, and Stephen really has been quite a threat for him. On the outside, he's emerged as a great receiver, freshman kid, a dynamic player. He might be the X factor in this game. But I like guys like Kenyon Drake, and I like on LSU side, Darius Geis. I mean, those are the kind of guys that'll make plays in this ball game that'll be the difference, because we all know Henry and Fournette are going to get their yards. They're going to try to pound the rock on both sides. Both teams are kind of mirror images. They like to stay balanced. LSU's a little bit more run heavy, but I think that guys like Kenyon Drake and Darius Geis can make big plays to help the outcome for their team. And I think, if there's an X factor on defense for these two teams, and you're a defensive guy, who do you like on both sides of the ball as an X factor on the defensive side?
For LSU, it's got to be Lewis Neal. I think his ability to turn the corner and rush the passer, he has been helped tremendously by Ed Ogeron. I think he's going to be a key factor in this game. I want to say he's got 7 or 8 sacks already, getting pressure one-on-one against Jay Coker. And if you look at Alabama, I think a guy that could be key for them is going to be A'Shawn Robinson. Reggie Ragland is the key to the defense. He's a linebacker. But if you don't hear the name A'Shawn Robinson, that's a good thing for LSU. Yeah. If you hear that name, because he's going to line up over, I believe Hawkins, he's going to line up over. And if Hawkins can't handle him, it's going to be a long day for LSU in the running game. So A'Shawn Robinson for Alabama, and for LSU is going to be Lewis Neal.
All right, Booger, finally, let's talk about the coaches in this game. I mean, Les Miles couldn't be more of a character, and I kind of think about how important these coaches are in this game, but also in the game of college football with this year, with so many guys getting let go, so many guys retiring that are just legendary. And I think about how amazing these coaches are. Les Miles for the trick plays, for his zaniness, for how just real he is. People talk about how real he is. And then Nick Saban, call him what he will, he's myopic, he's a winner, he burns a midnight oil. But he told me a couple of years ago, I think people have they misunderstand me, and they'll get to know me in a couple of years. He's softened. So really 2 different kinds of coaches on either sideline.
Yeah, 2 different type of coaches, but one has had the best of the other one over the last few years. Nick has won the recruiting battle, although Les has been close. Nick has won the football game, although Les has been close. And I think the key has been the ability for Les to make the proper decisions late in the fourth quarter. Go back to the game last year in Baton Rouge. You got the kickoff out of bounds. He told the kicker to kind of squib it down there. Some of the decision-making issues that Les has had over the course of his career. And so I think in this game, it comes down to this. Is Nick Saban or Les Miles going to make the aggressive decision? I think both have proven they'll do it, but can they do it in this ball game on a national stage under this pressure? Because both teams, in my opinion, are mirror images of each other. I think LSU's the more talented team, to be honest. The key will be, can Les Miles and his staff push the right buttons to get that talent to play properly in Tuscaloosa on Saturday night?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think LSU's offense is more powerful. I think, we got the best player in college football. There's no doubt about it. Fournette is the biggest beast in the land. But, will Cam Cameron and Les Miles kind of take the brains off of Brandon, where we look like a real balanced offense, and use those receivers? I think that's the key of the game. If he's afraid to let him loose, then we're going to have a hard time, because we're going to play so close to the vest. And Saban, he'll love playing against a team that doesn't do a lot on offense. I think Saban has a hard time when there's a lot going on offense, and the quarterback can run and make plays outside the pocket. That's, in history shows us that's what's given Saban the most problems. So I think if Saban can hem Brandon Harris up and Cam Cameron, they don't feel like they want to throw and they try to play close to the vest, and that works in Saban's favor.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those games. You're not going to get to see which team is going to be more aggressive until probably the middle of the first quarter.
Yep.
Both teams will probably come out early on. It'll be run fest the first 4 or 5 minutes. Whoever settles in the quickest, whoever allows their quarterback to get into the game with some easy throws. And because Lane Kiffin is with Alabama, Lane is a guy that's much more aggressive. And Lane has a little bit more, cachet, so to speak, than Cam Cameron does, because Nick actually went out and told Lane, I need your help. Well, Cam Cameron has kind of been under the tutelage of Les Miles, who you know and I know, Josh, he's never met a run that he doesn't like. So I think LSU's going to come out early. They're going to run the football. And you won't probably see Brandon Harris throwing the ball much until middle of the first quarter. So don't be surprised if the first 3 plays of LSU are toss, ISO left, toss, ISO right, draw up the middle, and he'll punt the football and play defense.
Dive, toss, dive, toss, dive,
yeah,
toss.
So it's the worst play in football, a dive toss.
It is. I can't stand watching it, but, Fournette, they plow some holes, and he's done a great job.
Yeah.
You know, it's an AFC Central, old school matchup is what we got on Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun.
No doubt about it, buddy.
Thanks, Booger. We sure appreciate you. He's Booger McFarland. You can see him on the SEC Network. We appreciate your time today.
All right, thanks, guys.
Have a good day, bud.
Take care.
Thank you.